So welcome to this session we normally run for undergraduates, for those in their final year, those who have just graduated, those who are waiting NYC, and those who have commenced NYC, and for those who have just concluded their NYC. Today we'll be discussing, exploring the accountancy career, in various ways. Exploring the accountancy career in various ways. One thing is to have studied accountancy in school or to have studied accounting, and on graduation, in the case of Nigeria, after your NYC, you are legally qualified to begin to search or look for a job. So that you look for a job mostly in any space of accountancy. But the essence of this session is to open up our mind for those of us who are in 400 level, or those of us who have just concluded our first degree program or HND program, or for those who are waiting NYC, for those on NYC, or for those who have recently or who have concluded NYC within a few years ago, that there are so many opportunities lying, there are so many opportunities on ground that anyone with sound accounting or accountancy education can explore for the purpose of beginning his or her journey in the profession, and for the purpose of also making income through delivering a legal and professional kind of job. So it's not just about waiting until you go for NYC. It's not just about waiting until you qualify as a chartered accountant. It's not just about waiting until you pass out of your National Youth Service Corps, as we have it in Nigeria, or any form of special processes. It's not about that. So there are many opportunities lying, there are many services, there are many outlets yearning for you to respond to. So I want to deal with what is common in recent time. We hear about people who have accounts with banks, bank customers, whether they are current account holders, whether they are savings account holders, and whether they're individual or businesses. We hear about spurious debits, fraudulent debits, wrong debits into the accounts of these people who are either savings or current account holders, or even into the account of even business enterprises and companies. So for a whole lot of them, they do not understand the processes involved in trying to seek redress. Even when the basic one they know is to write a letter of complaint or to go to their branch, right? Their branch where the account was opened, or to visit the nearest branch, or to call the customer care service line of these banks to complain. And that is where it stops for most of them. But someone who has studied accountancy, as someone who has studied accounting, that is a gold mine of opportunity, number one, to begin to explore the information, knowledge, competencies that are provided by the numerous issue of wrong debits, spurious debits, and fraudulent debits into account of customers. So you just explore. There are so many people who have complained. You might have eavesdropped, right, into discussion of persons who are complaining of certain inappropriate debits or charges to the accounts, unauthorized by them, not carried out by them, but either the staff of the bank or other parties that fraudulently access the account without the account holder having compromised. For account holder not to have compromised, for account holder not to have been negligent, for an account holder to have operated within the provisions, the terms and conditions of an account, and for that account holder to have suffered, inappropriate, wrong, fraudulent, or false debits, the bank is responsible for such irregular entries into a typical customer's account with that bank. So for us who have this accountancy or accounting background, we can begin to explore these opportunities. We can begin to explore these opportunities, even though we are in our 400 level, even though we are waiting NYC, even though we are just concluded NYC, we are trying to make application for jobs, the regular jobs. But these problems, because income and wealth comes from providing solutions to the problems, to the challenges, to the setbacks that people have, or by deepening the quality of experience, or by deepening the quality, right, of the product or service that is currently in offer. So that is what we do when we preach the ability, when we advocate the ability to make income through doing what is considered legit, or to strike a path towards wealth creation. Because income must be made first before you talk about savings, investment, reinvestment, and the likes. So for a typical accounting graduate, so this is an opportunity I want us to explore. If that connects to you in a certain way, begin to look out for customers, whether they're individuals, whether they're business enterprises, whether they're companies, whether they're non-governmental organization, or any kind of organization whatsoever, any kind of business organization. Begin to look out for, because what you pay attention to is what you hear. What you look out for is what you see. What you aspire towards is what your spirit is channeled towards. So when we begin to look out for this opportunity all around you, through the social media platforms where people complain, share on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and the rest of them. Just be on the lookout for those opportunities. So when you get those opportunities, whether from individuals, whether from companies, whether for any kind of businesses, then you come in. So what do you do? What do you do? That is why people like us are here, and other sound professionals out there who can guide you. That there is a document called, Guide to Charges by Banks and Non-Banks Financial Institutions. Guide to Charges by Banks and Non-Banks Financial Institutions. So that guide is the approved legal document by CBN. It has been issued for various, it has been issued over the years, but the current version in use is that became applicable from January 1, 2020. So in that document, you are going to see the portfolio, the collection of charges that can be validly passed by a bank to its customers. You are going to see the collection of information concerning interest rates that an account holder, whether they are savings, whether they are current, whether they're, generally, whether there's some other kind of, special purpose accounts, you are going to see the kind of interest rate earnable by someone who runs such accounts and who has bank balances with the bank over a certain period of time. You are going to see even things about regulation concerning charges and fees on cards, on electronic cards, your ATM, your Visa card, MasterCard, Verve card, and the like. So there are charges for their account maintenance charges. There are other charges associated with all kinds of financial transactions. But focus here is on what is becoming prevalent in a Nigerian environment, where people go through various fraudulent debits and they become helpless beyond going to their branches to complain, beyond calling the customer care, who oftentimes do not follow through. Very low percentage of persons or very low amount of account holders get fraudulent transactions reversed. Where the debits are erroneous, they could be reversed, but when the debits are fraudulent, they end up being helpless. So for a typical accounting graduate or finalist, this is an opportunity for you to explore. So I just spoke about the guide to charges by banks and non-bank financial institutions. So you go to the CBN website or you go to the internet, download that document. When you study it, it's going to open up. It's going to open up your thinking. It's going to open you into the world of knowledge of the nature of charges, the nature of interest earnable, and other financial financial consequences of becoming a bank account holder or of becoming an obligor, someone who has taken a loan from a financial institution, or any other kind of financial services related credit administration or deposit placement made by a bank customer. So when you're done reading that document, it's going to open your world to a whole lot of new knowledge and the potentiality of you deploying such knowledge in solving this problem of wrong debits and fraudulent debits that are prevalent. So when you want to go into such a transaction, you may need to let the person know if I help you achieve this. You see, entrepreneurs provide solution and they are rewarded for solution. They are not rewarded for the effort they make. You do not tell a potential client that, you know, I've been pursuing this reversal, I've done this for you, I've gone to CBN, I've gone to the bank head office, I've done this, therefore pay me something. No. So you can reach an agreement that certain reimbursable or certain administrative costs may be covered, right? But ultimately, you count yourself only to have delivered where you have achieved a conclusive reversal of such fraudulent debit, or where you have gotten to the point where there's need to institute a legal action after having explored all other avenues towards getting back such fraudulent debits. So my point is, what will be your fee? What will be your fee? Your fee can be discussed with the potential customer. I've spoken about reimbursable, where you have to incur transport cost, for example, where you have to have a meeting with a branch manager, with an account officer, and when you have to go to the bank's head office to meet those in charge of fraud and investigation, to meet those in charge of IT audits, and all of that, because you may not do all of this over Zoom, for example. You may need to have a face-to-face discussion with this party. So your fees and reimbursable expenses will need to be discussed. You know, we are assuming the amount involved is a little kind of material in your context. The amount of material, so that when having put in that work, it will be valid, it will lead to commensuration on the amount of fee you are going to be paid and for the payback of the reimbursable you'll have incurred. So your pricing or fee charging for the potential client is going to depend on all of this discussion. So, but first of all, download that guide to charges by banks and number of financial institutions. Study it from beginning to the end. From the beginning to the end. From the beginning to the end. Right? So start with that. The other aspect, apart from fraudulent debits, apart from wrong debits, there are what we call excess bank charges or excessive bank charges. For customers who have taken loans from banks and who do not monitor the way the periodic interest charge drops on the account. Sometimes they look at the account, they discover that the interest rate communicated to them at the point when the loan was taken has been varied continuously by the lender without even communicating to them, without even carrying them along. So when you read that guide to bankers' charges for banks and non-bank institutions, a lender is required to communicate on the minimum 7 days to an obligor, someone who has taken a loan, communicating the need or the plan to vary or to increase the interest rate payable on a facility, payable on a loan, payable on an advance made by the financial institution. So, but where a bank has gone on to unilaterally increase the interest rate continuously without communicating to the customer, that is an infraction. That is a breach of the guide to bank charges. So now what happened? In that case, the customer will have suffered a whole lot of debits, a whole lot of excess interest expense payments that shouldn't have been because that customer, the individual company, was not notified. So these are the issues, right? So beyond the fraudulent debits, let's start from the wrong debits, for which are helping a customer, a client to pursue a reversal. We go over to fraudulent debits, which are withdrawn from customer's account without the negligence, without the culpability, without the customer being a culprit, right? Being a culprit in the process of having suffered a fraudulent withdrawal, right? So those are fraudulent transactions. So apart from the wrong debits, so different transactions are not have the way you can pursue, help clients get their reversal, help clients follow into the logical conclusion as the ultimate outcome of what transpired and the process of trying to redress and get back the money that has been debited. This is an opportunity. Then the total I've mentioned within this is the issue about that excess bank charges. But that is a little more advanced because you need to get the offer letter. You need to understand the financial implication of the cycle of charges contained in the offer letter. You need to read the offer letter, in the context of the guide to bank charges for banks and non-bank financial institutions. Then the period in the bank may be for 1 month, 2 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. So the longer the tenure, the more complexity involved in trying to track excessive bank charges. But as a new graduate, as a graduating final year student, start from those on debits, start from fraudulent withdrawal, download the guide I've just mentioned, study it, know it, right? Then you get details like the details of the client, meaning the account number, the account details, the name of the customer on the account, the account number, for example, the amount that was fraudulently withdrawn, or the amounts that are fraudulently withdrawn, the day that it occurred, right? You obtain all other information, and that client, your potential client now, who is the customer to the bank, should be honest enough to share all details concerning the possibility of compromises he or she might have caused, either due to negligence or either due to other factors. So armed with this, you begin to write to the bank. You start with the bank. You write to the bank and introduce yourself to them through your email, right? Through your email, stating you are the consultant. You are the consultant to their customer ABC with account number this, right? The account to open is also they open at this branch. So you begin to write that these are the issues that have occurred. The fraudulent debits on day 1, day 2, day 3, state the date, say the time of the transaction, say the amount, and also document the efforts the accountant has made towards achieving a reversal of that, but it has yielded nothing. So if you start with the branch, you start with the bank concerned. Where nothing is done, you escalate to CBN. There's an arm of CBN that's in charge, right, of making sure that customers of banks are protected from wrong debits, protected from fraudulent transactions, protected from excessive charges. So there's a unit in CBN in charge of that. So go to CBN website. So this is an assignment now. Go to the CBN website, get the name of that unit, get all their email addresses, get all their phone number. You send email, you make phone call, you follow up. Follow up. In the state you are, it is very likely there is a CBN office or regional office in the zone of the country or Nigeria where you are. So when you get no response, get physical. Take a journey, take a step. Go over there and lay your complaint, show evidences of what is happening. So it may not be easy, but it's going to be what you see. When you do all of these things, you only need to get it right for one client or one potential client of yours. When you get it right for a second person, word of mouth to spread. You are going to deepen your competencies having engaged in this thing. This does not require certification, does not require training, yes. So there are so many accountants like us and the rest who can guide you, run you through that guide to bank charges, who can guide you through maybe how to structure a letter, the kind of attachment that should be there, the tone of the language, and all of that. But all of these things can be learned and can be understood, and you master them over time. Nobody masters anything just immediately. It takes time. But it is worthy to note that this is an opportunity. A lot of people have been crying about wrong debits, fraudulent withdrawal, excessive bank charges. This is an opportunity for any new accounting graduate or for a graduating accounting student or for a recent accounting graduate who has passed out of Nigeria's National Youth Service Corps to look at the possibility of exploring this. Why trying to pursue other dreams, or why applying for jobs and all of that? But this is a gold mine. This is a gold mine. When you do this consistently, other opportunities will open up, like advisory. For anyone seeking to take a loan from bank, for example, given the experience you will have garnered over time, you know what to look out for, you know how to guide them. Because most people get desperate and they pay less attention to the details, the term and condition of the offer letters covering the facility they are seeking. They don't pay attention because they're the interested party at that point. But as someone who is being consulted or who has been called to do something, you are most likely going to research terms and conditions of the offer letter with a balanced mindset. So that is it for this session. So let's explore the possibility of trying to help people achieve reversal of wrong debits, recovery of fraudulent debits, and them getting what I can call a write back or recovery of excessive bank charges. Let's start from there. It's a good way to go for anyone in a 400 level in accountancy department or accounting department, for anyone who has just graduated with our within NYC, even if you're on NYC, or even if you have just concluded NYC. So it's a good way to go. It is an opportunity you can explore, and you have a lot to benefit from it. In another session of this program, we'll be discussing other aspects, right? Other opportunities yearning for exploration by a typical financial or by a typical finance or a typical accounting or accountancy graduate. There are so many opportunities in Nigeria. It demands them focus, it demands them discipline, consistency. You need to be there long enough to experience massive impact from what you do. So thank you. Hope, do you have any question before we sign off?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you for joining us. Thank you, everyone. So see you next week in another session. Thank you and bye for now.